You're watching Orange Nation TV.
I'm O'Day Yusuf
And I'm Brooke Laver.
with Orange Nation TV. Today we're interviewing Coach Bussey and some star players from last week's Valhalla varsity football game versus Madison.
Okay.
O'Day Yusuf with Orange Nation TV with Spencer Havard, free safety of the Valhalla varsity football team. Spencer, you guys had a great game on Friday versus Madison. You especially, you did good things on both sides of the ball, but you know your defensive game was remarkable. What motivated you guys, especially after your loss in your first game?
Well, after the loss, that's what motivated us. We played real bad the first game as a defensive unit, and we knew offense was going to do their thing, so we had to come out and play hard on defense, and that's what we did, and that's how we got to win.
And you had a great interception in the game that really gave you guys a touchdown, boosted you guys back up in the game, and eventually led to your win. Were you what excited you? What made you want that interception so you guys can come back on top?
Well, I've been on varsity for 3 years, and I haven't gotten an interception yet, and I have missed my opportunities. And this year, if I get my opportunities, I'm trying to go get that ball. So when that ball's in there, that's the only thing that ran through my mind was to go get that interception.
And you guys are playing a great team next week, and it's going to be a challenge, Morse High School. What are you guys preparing, especially after you win? You guys are excited, but what are you going to do differently?
Well, even after a win, you got to stay focused. You can't get big-headed and stuff, especially after only one win. It's only one. But a team like Morse, they're quick, small, and fast. And we just got to stay with them, hang with their speed, and break down and make their tackles and score some touchdowns.
Friday's game was, really good for you. How many tackles did you have? What were your stats?
East County said I had 11 tackles, and then I had an interception and dropped a couple interceptions, but 4 deflections too. Decent.
Morse's offense has been really good, and over the past years. But what's going to win the game for you guys, defense or offense?
Well, both sides of the ball got it. Offense has to put points on the board, and we got to stop them. I mean, if they score over 21, that's a bad game for us. We got to keep them under 21 points, and our offense will put the rest of the points on the board for us.
Thank you very much. And this is your senior year, third year on varsity. What do you plan on doing after you graduate?
I plan on playing some college football, and I'm in that process right now. It's going all right, and then hopefully I'll be playing somewhere this time next year.
Thank you, Spencer. With Jihad Elder, star player of the Valhalla varsity football team. Jihad, you had over 200 yards rushing last game versus Madison, and remarkable game. You guys came out with the win. What are you going to do for next week?
Next week, I just plan to execute the plays like I have before. Like last week, in practice, we worked hard and went over film, so I expect a good game for next week.
And you guys had a loss in your first game versus Madison, and obviously you guys came back, your first game versus Mira Mesa, and you guys came back with a great win versus Madison. What motivated you, especially you, with a lot of rushing yards and something remarkable?
I mean, I guess it was just a good experience. We learned from it. We learned from our loss, and we just, worked on some things, fixed things, and next week was a better week. So.
And are you able to translate your skills for the, your next game?
Definitely. I expect me to do a lot of rushing, a lot of yards.
You know how many yards you ran last game?
I know that I ran for about 200 plus yards.
Great running game. When you come on the sidelines after a play, after a touchdown, are you told? Do you know how many yards you run?
No, I'm not told how many yards I run. I wish I was. Whenever I do good, I don't get talked about it. So if I get a big game, just move on to the next play.
Does it motivate you to go even harder next time to get even more yards?
Definitely motivates me to do good.
And it's going to help your team win?
Yeah, it's going to help my team win.
Hi, I'm Brooke Laver from Orange Nation TV, and here we have Ben Howard from the varsity football team. So you set a huge record. You got 4 touchdowns. What's going through your mind? How does that feel for you?
During the game, my head was pretty much spinning. I've never been able to score. Well, I've never scored 3 touchdowns in one game, let alone 4. It didn't really hit me until probably Sunday that I actually set the school record. But it's hard work paying off, so I'm pretty proud of it.
Nice. Now, with this game coming up this Friday, you're playing Morse, do you feel like you'll have a little bit more pressure, or do you feel like your teammates will help you out so maybe you can score a little bit more touchdowns?
Well, we've got a lot of weapons on the offense. I mean, after watching the game tape and seeing that I scored as many times as I did, they'll probably put some more pressure on me. But it's great because we've got a great group of guys who we're able to spread the ball around to them. I mean, Ramsey's got quick feet, so even if we're all covered, he's going to be able to take care of the ball himself. We've got John Todd, the opposite side of me, and he's a great target. Brian Macias, the East County Sports Player of the Week, the first week of the season, and so he's a good weapon too. So yeah.
So you're pretty excited and you're pretty pumped that you'll do well this upcoming Friday against Morse?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My confidence is definitely a lot higher.
Very nice. All right. Well, congratulations on your 4 touchdowns. That's pretty ripped.
Thank you.
Okay, so one of your touchdowns was probably a lot more difficult than your others. How did you manage to be successful through it?
Well, a lot of perseverance, I guess. I just kept on running in the words of Forrest Gump. I saw him coming, I looked behind me, and I could see that he was on my tail. So I kind of made a small juke, if you will. And then he grabbed me, and I kind of just spun around, and my feet kept moving. And then I just saw the end zone, and I knew I just needed to get there, and so I kind of dove at the very end. But it was just kind of sheer will of wanting to score, so yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ben, for your time, and good luck for playing Morse in this Friday's game.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brick Laver from Orange Nation TV, and right now we are with Coach Bussey, the varsity football coach, and we're going to talk about a little questions about football in this season. So as this season is starting, as a coach, what do you feel like you can do to motivate your players to continue their success throughout this season?
Well, I think once the season gets started, it's kind of self-motivating. They of course want to win. They've worked very hard for months on end to prepare for the season, and it's only 10 short games that we have. So it's kind of self-motivating. At times they can get down if things don't go well, or they can get overhyped if things go well, like last week. So it's more about keeping them even-keeled more than anything else.
How do you help to keep your players motivated and for them to strive to do better?
Well, I mean, again, it's when we lose, they can get down, but it's kind of easy to say you don't want to feel that again, and so they motivate themselves. It's a little harder when we win. We have a big win like last week versus Madison. Heads get big, and they think that we're world beaters all of a sudden, and trying to remind them that hey, the team on next Friday, that team's coming out here to win, and even if we're expected to win or people are thinking high of themselves, it only takes one loss to knock you right back down.
Right. Now, this upcoming week, we're going to be playing Morse High School. You guys beat them last year. Do you feel like maybe this year they're a little bit more improved? Do you feel like your players are going to be a little more intimidated by them? Or?
Last year we played them, and we were grateful to get a win. There's a couple things that I've said to the players to try to keep them focused. Number one, despite the fact that we won last year at the varsity level, at the JV level, they beat us. And so those kids are looking for revenge. Also, watching film, Morse is a better team this year. They've always had athletes, and they look like they're better coached this year, and they're ready to play.
So you had a couple of players that set some huge records. How do you feel as a coach? How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm obviously proud of those players, but one of the key things I think that's important is to focus it back on the team. Jihad Elder ran for 222 yards, I believe it was, but he wouldn't have got a single yard without the offensive line. So we put a lot of praise on the offensive line, as well as praising Jihad. Ben Howard had 4 touchdowns, and quite honestly, during the game, I didn't even realize he had 4 touchdowns, but looking back on it, again, without the quarterback throwing the ball, without the offensive line blocking for him, we wouldn't have had those opportunities. So we try to, push the praise back on to the team as a whole, rather than focusing on the individual.
And don't forget to catch us the 21st of the homecoming game live.
I've been Ode.
And I'm Brooke Laver, and you're watching Orange Nation TV.